Jason Goodall alongside Robbie Koenig. Thoroughly enjoying semi-finals day here on day 6 of our live coverage. And this evening's fair features Juan Martin del Potro from Argentina, the world number 5, seeded the same this week. And of course the former world number 1, now number 2, Roger Federer. Finish until the wee small hours of this morning. He defeated Andy Murray. Interesting to see how much gas he has left in the tank, but it was a big win yesterday evening. It will give him a lot of confidence coming into this evening's match. He's going to need every ounce of that confidence, if only because of the reputation that Federer brings to the court each and every time he steps out onto it. There's no question he's not quite playing as well as he used to, but still he's a formidable foe. He's playing the ball relatively well this week, but it's very much going to be a question, Robbie, surely, of whether Del Potro believes he can win this match, because reputations in tennis do count for a lot, and Federer still has a pretty healthy one.
Certainly does, and last time they played, he gave this young man a good old-fashioned hiding. But saying that, since that victory over Del Potro in Australia, Del Potro has made it through to the semi-finals of 2 Master Series event, a place we had previously never been, and that's got to give him a lot of confidence with that win over Nadal in Miami, and of course the win yesterday evening against Murray, an outstanding one. So the Argentine always growing in confidence.
All right, same condition as previous matches. I'd just like to remind you about TV changeovers, and if I have a doubt about a point-ending shot, I'll go down by myself, but in between serves, if you could let me know, because I don't want to delay the serve, okay? Any questions? No? One? You want to call it? Heads, okay? That's heads for you. All right? We'll see. Okay, good match.
Rick Molina is the umpire. So this is the second semi-final of the day. If you weren't with us a little earlier, you missed an absolute epic. Rafael Nadal defeating Novak Djokovic in 3 of the tightest sets you could imagine. In just over 4 hours. It was the longest match ever in Masters Series history. So Nadal awaits the winner of this one in tomorrow's final. 3-6, 7-6, 7-6. What a match it was, Robbie. And Djokovic, I'm sure, will be bitterly disappointed, but he can hold his head up high. It was an amazing performance, especially in that 3rd set. Some of the shot making from the guys under pressure was extraordinary. Yeah,
it was from another planet, the way those 2 guys were playing, what they were able to do with the tennis ball, given the circumstances. The 2 points that Nadal played when he was match point down were quite unbelievable, and I don't think I ever thought I'd be saying that Federer was going to have to follow a tough act, but tonight he's going to have to do that, and it'll be very, very hard to match the one that's come just before them.
Federer, of course, we know, when playing well, has plenty of weaponry up his arsenal, and Del Potro will need to play well in order to nullify that. But 5 singles titles. All of them have been won either last season or this. 4 of them in 2008, Stuttgart, Kitzbühel, Los Angeles and Washington. And of course, Auckland earlier this season. So he's got a pretty good win-loss record, 24-7. And he's been a model of consistency throughout the course of the season. I guess what he's got to try and do now, Robbie, is turn some of those quarter-final appearances, like in the Australian Open, San Jose, Memphis, Indian Wells, and of course Rome more recently, into semi-finals and finals. Give himself a shot of winning more titles, especially at this level.
Yeah, and he's just started to do that. Miami had an excellent win against Nadal when he was down a double break in that final set, and enabled him to get to the semis. And of course, yesterday evening, an excellent win against Andy Murray, lining up his second semi-finals of the Master Series season for him. And it's only going to help him grow in confidence. He's had some tough matches this week, and he's come through them. And, you know, we can't forget that Juan Martin is still a youngster. He was one of the youngest guys ever to break into, you know, the top 100, and then obviously top 20. Now he's number 5 in the world.
Yeah, 20 years of age. He was a breakdown in that third set against Wawrinka, so did well to win that, and 5-2 down in the first set against Murray as well. So he's shown us plenty of his fighting capabilities throughout the course of the week so far. Well, Federer is well used to the eyes of the world being on him. He takes to the match course, and if you look at his record, and you didn't suggest whose it was, and you said, well, this guy's done well, semi-finals in Doha, runner-up at the Australian Open, semi-finals of Indian Wells, reached the last 4 in Miami, as well as in Rome, you'd say, well, this guy's having a great season. But as soon as you say it's Federer's record, you say, oh, that's a little disappointing. And it's only right, because he's set such lofty standards in the last 4 or 5 years.
He's taken the sport to dizzying heights, and as a result of it, he's pulled a lot of guys along with him. I'm sure Nadal has been always mindful of what Federer has been able to achieve, and as a result, it's urged him onto bigger and better things, always looking to improve his game. And obviously, he's caught up to Federer, and at the moment, he's surpassed him. But still, what this guy's been able to do is quite phenomenal.
He's surpassed him as well in terms of Master Series Shield. So Federer's won 14, Nadal 15. Agassi, of course, the all-time leader at 17. Now this week, he's played relatively well. The match against Soderling was a very quick one. They got off to a flyer, and James Blake was dispatched comfortably. That was revenge for the defeat that Federer suffered at the hands of the American in the Olympics last year. And then, of course, Andy Roddick was beaten in 3 sets in the quarterfinals. So it's been a pretty good draw for Federer. But we've seen enough this week, I think, to suggest that he's hitting the ball pretty cleanly.
Yeah, he is. None of those guys are real clay court dogs, as I like to call them. Yeah, I think Federer, especially in a Master Series event, Jason, you consider this a pretty good draw to get all the way through to the semi-finals.
And Del Potro has been beaten on the 4 previous occasions that these two have met, and incredibly, Del Potro has never won a set against Federer. And that last match that you were discussing earlier, Robbie, was a little embarrassing, I thought. I sat through it, watched it, and I felt bad for Del Potro. And you shouldn't really have to feel bad for somebody who's now ranked 5 in the world, but it was a poor performance, wasn't it? And tonight, he's got to make amends.
Yeah, I think perhaps feeling a little out of his depth. Quarterfinals at the Australian Open, never been to such a stage, such a major stage before, and perhaps nerves got the better of him. Perhaps he didn't feel like he belonged. He was still young, and you've got to put those down to learning experiences. I'm sure in the years to come he'll look back at it and see, hopefully, that he has learned a lot from that experience.
Enrique Molina's one of the most experienced umpires in the business. Both players will be delighted that he's in the chair. It's going to be important for Del Potro to get off to a good start, because when you have been beaten badly by an opponent and you come up against them again, if you get off to a poor start, all those bad memories tend to come flooding back. But if you can do well at the beginning of the match, you can always block them out.
Señoras y señores, ocupen sus localidades rápidamente, por favor.
So we already know that Rafael Nadal awaits the winner of this one, the second semi-final on day 6 of our live coverage here in Madrid.
Primer set, al servicio, Roger Federer. Ready? Play. Aero 15. Love 15.
Well, I'll put my house on one fact, that this match won't last just over 4 hours, no matter what happens. This is the first meeting between these two on this particular surface. Played once on grass at Wimbledon in 2007, and the other 3 meetings played on a hard court. Federer's won them more comfortably, but I think since these two met at the Australian Open, Del Potro has beaten Nadal in Miami. That was a huge win. It was a double breakdown in that 3rd set at 3-love and eventually prevailed. And then, of course, yesterday evening beating Murray. So a couple of wins over top 5 players do confidence the world of good.
That's a good point you make, because prior to beating Nadal in Miami, he had lost 14 straight matches to the guys ranked inside the top 4.
Federer suggested yesterday that he quite liked playing here in Madrid because he felt he could dominate more with his serve.
That's exactly what he was able to do on that previous point. It's not really laid the platform for him to do anything else after it.
It was a similar scenario then.
For service.
Good footwork.
To me, it looks like Federer is well aware of the fact that Del Potro doesn't move as well forward as what he does laterally. Throwing in a couple of drop shots early on.
And the Federer ripper. Good game in the end, because he was struggling a little bit at 15-40. Managed to find his first serve, and thereafter it was a little easier to control the points.
Al servicio Juan Martín del Potro.
Beautiful shot.
Well, he's used the shot a lot already in the match. Again, he's done his homework. He's got the Argentine flat-footed.
Game day winners. 15.
It's a sensible serve.
30-15.
One shot that has improved dramatically, I think, in the last year or so.
First time I got a look at Del Potro was towards the end of 2007 when he was playing in Mumbai. I couldn't believe for such a tall guy, 6'5", that the serve was so ineffective. I'd heard a lot about him. That's why I was so keen to see how good this kid was. But as you rightly say, the serve has come on in leaps and bounds the last 2 seasons.
He was.
All the success that Del Potro has enjoyed has come whilst working with Franco Divine. They hooked up in March last season, and of course Del Potro started his tear in the summer, winning those 4 titles back to back. Amazing effort. Took advantage of the fact that a lot of the best players in the world were at the Olympics. He did beat Roddick as well, who had stayed behind. Area that still needs work. If Federer can outmaneuver Del Potro, get a lot of cheap points. He's not that comfortable moving on the clay, is he?
Yeah. Last night he really compensated for it well when he was playing against Murray. He was always the aggressor, and thereby he was always controlling the point. So he was doing less running than the Scot. But Federer's style of play, taking the ball early, it's tough to play against. It's tough to be aggressive against that style of play as well. That's probably why he struggled against him in the past.
Yeah, once he gets behind in the rally, he finds it difficult to turn defence into attack, especially on clay. Doesn't hit with a great deal of topspin, actually. Hits it relatively flat when you're comparing him to the likes of Nadal, Djokovic. Good hold. Federer had his chance. He'll feel a little better now. One apiece.
Losing 10. 15 love. Federer.
Early doors, that bodes well. The comfortable holes. 2-1.
It's 9:20 local time.
Tomen asiento rápidamente.
Sun just starting to disappear. That's why they got the lights on.
Tiempo.
Really is one of the hottest tickets in town. This is about the 5th or 6th time that he's played the drop shot. So unusual to see a player do it off the return of serve. It's something you see when you go and watch the under-10 juniors play. It's like a go-to play. Don't see it too often here on the ATP World Tour.
Iguales, 59.
It's a very clean ball, this Del Potro. Reminds me a lot of Todd Martin, not only in his stature, the way he plays. Both hit the ball very flat. Backhands are world class. Both move pretty well for tall guys.
2030.
Have to keep an eye on the number of unforced errors that come off that Federer wing. Has been one of the shots that hasn't been firing on all cylinders for the past year or so. It's had its ups and downs.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It's a bit in and out, isn't it? Sometimes it can hit it well, but on other occasions it can lose it completely. That's good stuff. Nice that poor decision. Heading back for the smash.
I like that play from Federer. I wish he did a little bit more on a clay court. Running around the second serve, and that really, again, that set up the point for him. Allowed him to dictate proceedings. He's got a good hop. Get some good hang time. Similarly, Federer will be going after Del Potro's forehand because he'll know that that's also the weaker side of the Argentine. His backhand yesterday evening was rock solid against Andy Murray. And toe-to-toe with the Scot in that particular shot.
Break point. It's a gutsy shot. Not a lot of margin for her.
I think he's got to go for his shots tonight. Can't hold back against Federer, especially on this surface. I'd like to see a similar sort of match to what he played yesterday evening, where he was aggressive at every given opportunity.
Federer will be a little disappointed, but he's got the break of serve as yet. In this game alone, Del Potro has only made 3 of 9 first serves. You've got to try and take advantage of passages of play like that.
He's not comfortable at all around the net.
Iguales.
Started backtracking as soon as he was in trouble.
Del Potro. Dos juegos iguales. Siguiente.
Well, Potro and Federer have done well to stave off break points. Both managed to hold their opening couple of service games.
Good anticipation that time from Del Potro. Was onto the drop shot quickly. Federer definitely trying to be a little more aggressive, hitting many more winners, but also obviously making a few more unforced errors as a result. Del Potro's already had a couple of break points, and here are two more. Dropping the ball in too short. Well, you do have chances early on in a match against one of the world's best players. Sometimes you think, oh, it's okay. You know, I'll get a few more if I continue playing this well, but it doesn't always pan out that way. That's exactly why, because Federer, once he snuffs it out, you might not get a look in for the rest of the set.
Federer was always ahead of the game in that last rally. He's just a couple of bullets so far on serve, but still leads 3-2. Potro will be pretty pleased with his start so far. He's managed to hang with Federer, and more than that, he's had chances to break. He may well come to rue those missed opportunities a little later on. Time will tell. Despite the fact that both players have had chances to break, there haven't been any in this opening set. 2-3.
This opening set's been exactly half an hour in the making. Nothing between these two players.
Forceful hitting.
The tournament director with a famous actress who is the better half, shall we say, of Carlos Moya, Carolina Cerezuela.
Good looking couple, those two, aren't they?
Like a formidable trio. Some famous names here in Spain.
Good length. That's the downside for Federer playing on a court like this. He doesn't like to give up too much territory. And when you play on a really good clay court, you're still going to get a few bad bounces, but this one, players have suggested it isn't particularly good, and we've seen a lot of bad bounces this week. Especially if you're attempting to half volley the ball, you just don't have time to make the adjustment, so we're going to see Federer miss a fair few shots like that. There was another. He was very fortunate to get away with that.
And he knows that he can't keep squandering these opportunities. Had a few in Federer's last service game.
4 break points so far, and a 30-all opportunity there, and hasn't been able to make the most of it. So decent serve from Federer, his 3rd ace, seals his 4th service game. 4-3, first set.
I just mused to myself when Federer walked over there to confirm that the ball, yes, it was the one on the line.
Yeah, none of those that are out have been hit by me.
Yeah,
it's the one on the line.
And saying that, he's not the guy who gets the most number of calls right either, so I was having a good chuckle to myself there. I could just imagine the guy in his junior days giving some of his peers some rough calls.
3-4.
Love 15.
Manolo just wants to chill.
Aggressive forehand from Federer. Again, taking it very early. Takes time away from your opponent. Sometimes it rushes them into error. Three more break points. The best players in the world are so good at finding the clutch. It really matters in matches, and Federer has now won 8 of the last 9 points. It's allowed him the opportunity to serve for the first set.
Good play from Federer. Taking Del Potro by surprise there. Last thing he expected was the serve volley on the second.
And it's a good tactic to use because Del Potro, generally speaking, does stand a fair way behind his baseline. Just saving a fine there, Robbie. Huh?
Yeah. Actually broke his racket against his foot when he lost the previous point.
But some players do that. They won't go and change the racket immediately, because if the umpire realizes they've broken a racket, he should fine them. But if he changes it the point after, it's harder for them to do that.
Does he still get the fine if he breaks it on his foot versus doing it on the court, though?
Should do. The rules state if you break a racket in anger, there should be a fine. Certainly a warning as well. Don't necessarily agree with that. So those are the rules. It's a decent serve, and Federer very quickly finds himself at set point. Federer's on quite a roll now. Merkel will be delighted that her man's managed to win 12 of the last 13 points to wrap up the opening set, 6 games to 3 after 41 minutes.
Segundo set al servicio del Potro.
Second set. Lovell. Yeah, beautiful shot.
It's the right approach shot, and you've made your opponent go for the tougher pass. That's for sure. Nothing you can do about that.
Let's to service.
Brutal hitting.
Well, he's taken an unbelievable catch, and I can see the South African passport just sticking out the top of his pocket there.
Yes. Juego del Potro. Segundo set. First game, second set.
Good opening service game. He's just got to try and cut out the unforced errors, especially off the forehand side. Perhaps been guilty of going for too much.
15 love. Straight 30 love.
He did suggest yesterday that he was liking the conditions here because it was helping him win cheap points on serve, and so it's proved this evening.
Yes. Federer.
Nice quick service game.
1
On a piece.
He stopped playing. It's going to be a big decision.
Está tocando acá, Fíjate que la marca. No. Eso es lo que ha hundido más, pero para mí está tocando. No, pero la marca, fíjate que la marca no está completa aquí. Sí. Sí. No, yo entiendo lo que dices, o sea que hay espacio, pero la marca no está completa.
That's a good decision from the umpire. Excellent vision. Always going to be a difficult shot to chase down, but it became impossible once he clipped the top of the net. An easy approach shot, made it look relatively simple.
15-30.
From Federer. Just watch the control here. That was the Federer of old. Phenomenal shot. It's given the second seed. Great point. That's how good it has to be at the moment.
Ventaja Federer. Sí. Iguales.
Just caught.
Ventaja del Potro.
Big hole. Potro can sense, I'm sure, that Federer has raised the level of his game in the last 20-25 minutes or so. He's doing well to hang with him now. 2-1.
She's a household name in this neck of the woods.
Tiempo.
She's been to 4 consecutive Olympic Games, has Almadina Sid, which as a gymnast is really unheard of.
Federer. 15 off.
Wonderful feel. This is Federer waving his wand in the magic box.
Just cushioning the blow beautifully.
40-15.
Yep.
Well, that time the call does go the way of Del Potro.
Second service. 30-30. 40-30. Once.
Well, I guess when you push that wide, you may as well go for it. He's not going to find a way back into the rally from there. Excellent length on the approach shot, or the shot prior to the approach shot, I should say. Good feel on the volley too. It's an area of his game that needs improvement, but he's worked hard at it. Tonight, he can certainly learn from the master. Lovely pick-up there from Federer. Watch this. Phenomenal effort. And then crucially, he didn't then charge into the net because he knew he was going to find himself in a tough position. So by going back to the baseline, it gave him a little more time to regroup. And it made it a little more difficult for Del Potro to hit the winning shot. Good thinking under pressure.
Well, this is the fourth clean winner of the drop shot Federer's played tonight. Beautiful. His good mate Tiger Woods will be impressed with this one, as Tiger hits the flop shot almost as good as this.
Nice feel on that shot this evening, Federer. opportunities for Federer. It's all about the pressure that Federer's been able to put on Del Potro when returning. Standing well inside the baseline. And that's going to be a bitter pill for Del Potro to swallow. 3-2, second set.
Tiempo.
Federer getting a little annoyed now that he's having to replay so many of these points when he's hit the ball on the back of the line.
Yeah, I think the officials just a little too enthusiastic. They haven't missed that many calls, they just keep calling them out when they hit the lines. He's had his iron this evening on serve. Very good.
Yeah, because for the last couple of months, that first serve percentage hasn't been great. It's one department where he said he needs a lot of improvement. Had problems with his lower back, in all fairness to him. But I think when he plays against the likes of Nadal, Djokovic or Murray, has to serve well.
Yeah, he said in Indian Wells in Miami, he felt it just wasn't there when he needed it, and he said he felt that the injury he had suffered in his lower back at tail end of last season had affected the serve. Makes the world of a difference because it affects your ability to play well in all of the other areas of your game too. Because you're always worrying about it if you can't find your first serve. If you're serving well, everything really does become relatively simple. A little too casual even for Federer, that.
40-15. Juego Federer. Federer gana 4-2. 4 games to 2.
He's making 76% of his first serves in this second set. He's won 92% of the points when that first serve's gone in, 12 of 13. Very impressive.
Beautiful angled shots from Del Potro.
40-0, 14-off.
Creates an unbelievable angle there because he wasn't that wide himself when he played the initial forehand.
One break was enough in the opening set. Federer will be hoping it'll be a similar scenario here in the second, because he leads 4-3. I'm sure everybody's thoroughly enjoyed themselves this evening, but I'm sure if the majority of them only watched this evening's match, they would have been disappointed they didn't have tickets for the afternoon session. Carlos Moya was here this afternoon. He thoroughly enjoyed Nadal's match. He's still very popular in these parts. Federer with a break, 4-3.
15-0.
No, that's white. That's the one. Yeah.
Definitely wide.
15 iguales, 15-1.
Nice combination.
14-15.
And again, all made possible by that great first serve.
Served incredibly well. I'm sure he'll believe that if he can serve this well tomorrow against Nadal, he'll have every chance of beating the Spaniard. I don't think Del Potro has done enough this evening to try and disrupt Federer's rhythm. He's been happy to trade blows with him. So by doing so, I think he plays right into Federer's hands.
Yeah, Federer one of the best at turning pace into pace. Yeah, it's brilliant. I saw him hit that shot really well against Sandy Roddick in the previous match.
15-30, 15-30.
A pair of hands here to take a bit of evasive action. Not easy when you're 6'5". You have to get down that low. Whoa. Better protect that forehead of mine.
Federer gana 5-4. Federer leads 5-4.
Well, this match has been very different from the first semi-final of the day in every sense. Federer played just as well in his own way as Nadal and Djokovic did. Just a very different style of tennis. And he has been pretty dominant throughout the course of the match so far. Here he is, just a decent service game away from joining Nadal in tomorrow's final.
Key for Federer, 15 love.
Good hands. Nice anticipation.
30 love. Reina Gimli, 30-15. Faults.
It's been an impressive performance, there's no doubt about that. One of the best matches I've seen Federer play on clay for quite some time. Serve has been very effective. Match point. Quicker than the time it took Nadal to win his semi-final, which was just over 4 hours. sure Federer broke a sweat there.
6-3, 6-4.
Pretty comfortable win in the end. Faced a couple of break points early doors, but at the end of the day, classic Del Potro really. The foundation of the win was definitely some really good serving. First serve in particular was outstanding. So we have the dream final, the first meeting between Federer and Nadal on clay this season, because Federer has been able to beat Del Potro in the second semi-final of the day in straight sets.
Yeah, really wasn't tested. I had a couple of break points against him early on in the match, but I think Del Potro definitely a little jaded. I almost got the feeling that he was happy with his result this week, and that anything else was a bonus. Didn't really expect to get the better of the world number 2. But it's Roger just too solid in the end. And as you rightly said, the serve was impressive today. It's one of the best serving displays I've seen him in a while. And I've seen him serve well for sets. Did so in the Australian Open final this year. But over the course of the match, this was a good percentage, almost 70%. And obviously when that first serve goes in, he's so dominant. He only lost a handful of points on it, 7 to be exact. And for me, I like the fact that he's getting to the net a little more now on the clay. I think it's imperative again. I think he's going to have to do more of that tomorrow if he wants to get the better of Nadal. But it's going to be a great final, I'm sure. Everybody who's got a ticket for tomorrow couldn't have asked for anything more.